You remember the feeling. The moment the dream first arrived, it didn't come as words. It came as electricity, a quiet warmth in the chest, a sudden clarity at 2:13 a.m. when the world was asleep and no one could interfere. In that private space, the dream was alive. It breathed. It expanded. It felt inevitable. And then you spoke it. You told a friend, a partner, a family member. You let the words out, expecting relief, maybe even encouragement. But something shifted. The dream didn't feel the same afterward. It became heavier, smaller, more fragile. Days passed, then weeks. Motivation thinned. Doubt grew teeth. And eventually, the dream didn't die violently. It just stopped calling you. This is the paradox that quietly ruins lives. The act of sharing your dream meant to strengthen it is often what suffocates it. Not because the dream was weak, but because it was spoken too early. You weren't lazy. You weren't inconsistent. You were not disciplined enough. You violated a psychological law no one teaches. Some dreams require secrecy to survive. This video is about why. Not in a motivational way, not in a manifest harder way, but in a deeply psychological, neurological, and existential way. Because your dreams don't die from failure. They die from exposure before embodiment. To understand this, we need to name the archetype. You are not unfocused. You are not unserious. You are a wounded visionary. Someone whose inner world is vivid, complex, and alive, but whose nervous system was conditioned to seek safety through validation. This pattern is rooted in 3 key psychological mechanisms. 1. Premature cognitive closure. When you speak a dream, the brain experiences a form of false completion. Neurologically, verbalizing a goal activates the dopaminergic reward system, the same circuitry involved in achievement. Your brain gets a hit of satisfaction before the work begins. So the subconscious quietly concludes, this has already happened. Motivation doesn't disappear because you're weak. It disappears because the brain believes the loop is closed. You traded process for performance. 2. The social mirror effect. Humans don't see themselves directly. They see themselves reflected. When you speak a dream, you hand it to someone else's nervous system and they project onto it their fears, their limitations, their unhealed disappointments. Even encouragement carries weight because now the dream is no longer yours alone. It's being watched. This activates evaluation anxiety, a stress response where the prefrontal cortex becomes hyper-aware of judgment. The dream stops being playful. It becomes performative. 3. Identity diffusion. Before a dream is lived, it is pre-verbal. It exists as sensation, intuition, and image. When you name it too early, you force it into language and language is rigid. This creates identity foreclosure. You lock yourself into a version of the dream before it has evolved. The psyche rebels against cages, even self-made ones. So it withdraws energy, not to punish you, but to protect the dream from becoming false. This is where the grief lives. Not the grief of failure, but the grief of aborted becoming. Every time a dream dies this way, something subtle happens inside you. You trust yourself less. You doubt your intuition. You begin to believe the lie, I never follow through. But the truth is darker and more tender. You were exposed before you were ready. Carl Jung warned, that which is premature is also immature. Dreams are living things. They require darkness, silence, time, protection. When you speak them too soon, you offer them up to the collective, and the collective is impatient. So you begin sacrificing authenticity for belonging. You choose being understood over being true, being supported over being sovereign, being seen over being safe. And the core fear underneath all of this is not failure. It's being alone with your desire. Because wanting something deeply without witnesses requires courage. It means sitting with uncertainty. It means holding a fragile flame without applause. So you speak the dream to relieve the tension. And in doing so, you give away the very pressure that would have transformed you. This pattern doesn't stay in dreams. It spreads. You might announce plans publicly, then feel mysteriously resistant to starting. Over-explain your goals, hoping others will take them seriously while you quietly stop taking them seriously yourself. Abandon projects at 70% once the internal magic turns into external obligation. Feel embarrassed by old ambitions, not because they were foolish, but because they were never protected. Confuse accountability with exposure, believing you need pressure when you actually need containment. Label yourself inconsistent when you are actually deeply sensitive to psychic intrusion. These are not character flaws. They are coping strategies. You learned that visibility equals safety. So you outsource belief. Unlearning begins when you stop gaslighting yourself and start witnessing the pattern. You ask, what if my dreams didn't need to be shared but incubated? You realize discipline didn't fail you. Secrecy was never taught to you. Protection was never modeled. And once you see it, the shame dissolves. Healing does not mean becoming secretive out of fear. It means becoming selective out of wisdom. You begin practicing sacred containment. You let dreams exist in the body before the mouth. You build quietly, train privately, practice without witnesses. This is inner child reparenting at its core. I will protect what matters to you until it is strong enough to stand. Shadow work teaches you to reclaim the part of you that doesn't need applause to exist. And slowly, something changes. Your energy returns, your focus deepens. Your dreams stop asking to be announced and start asking to be lived. Philosopher Søren Kierkegaard wrote, "To dare is to lose one's footing momentarily. Not to dare is to lose oneself." Your dreams don't die because you lack courage. They die because you gave them away before they belonged to you. So here is the truth to remember. Not everything sacred needs to be spoken. Some things need to be protected until they become real. You are not broken. You are becoming. And becoming happens in silence. If this resonated, share it with someone who keeps losing dreams they never meant to abandon. And subscribe not to learn how to announce your life, but how to inhabit it fully.